Today's podcast from Beyond the Box with Monica Kelsey is the very own America's favorite fire chief, John Moriarty from Carmel Fire Department. Welcome to Beyond the Box with Monica Kelsey. I am in the studio today, and I'm so excited for this because this is my first podcast, of course, my first episode, and I couldn't have thought of a better person to do it with than you. You know, as most of you guys know, this is America's favorite fire chief. You have been dubbed that on TikTok.
I'm honored. I'm very honored. But I am a division chief within the Carmel Fire Department, but I'm very honored to be dubbed that. But I admire all our fire chiefs throughout the country.
Yeah. Well, you know, for those who don't know anything about you, so, you know, I know you. I love you, John. You and I have been
same here.
Fighting this fight. Fighting this fight. But tell me in case our listeners don't know a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I've been with the Carmel Fire Department for 43 years. I met the love of my life, Lori Ann. We've been married 42 years, raised 4 children, and I'm very involved with the department. I was on the trucks for 36 and a half years, and then I was appointed to a position of Division Chief of Community Relations because I was always involved, even when I was on shift. I was always involved out in the community, just being very involved in a volunteer status. And so when I retired from suppression after 36 and a half years on the trucks, had to have both hips replaced.
Well, yeah.
I got that done. My wife
Which there's a story behind the hips.
There's a story behind the hips.
We're going to have to talk about that today.
But I had both hips replaced and realized it was time. 36 and a half years on the fire truck's a long time.
Yeah,
I had worked my way through the ranks and became a sworn captain, a station captain. And I had done everything I wanted to do, but I wanted to continue. But the doctor said, your hips are bad. You need to replace them. So we got them replaced. And then they had a ceremony for me retiring in that from suppression. And I was gone 2 weeks, and the fire chief asked me to come back and continue to
Now, this was Chief Habash?
Chief Habash. David Habash at the time was the fire chief.
Yeah.
And he asked me to come back and to be the division chief of community relations, community liaison, because a lot of what I had done in my career off duty, volunteering in that, as well as on duty sometimes, they wanted me to continue to do so. And I've done that. And one of the programs that he had asked me to oversee is when Monica came to us in 2018 with the Safe Haven Baby Box.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So let's stop you right there because that kind of is how you and I met.
Absolutely.
You know, and so the relationship between you and I really kind of started there.
Yep.
And okay, so when I first walked in there, okay, what was your first thought when we sat down at that table? Because we sat down at that table, me and Chief Habash, you, a couple other people.
Yeah.
What was your first thought when we were talking about putting a baby box at Carmel Fire?
I had never, to be quite honest with you, I'd never heard of the program, but I was very excited to see you know what it all entailed,
right?
What it was about, because obviously I'd never heard about anything, but I thought just the mere thought of being able to save human life, that part of it grabbed me right away.
Yeah.
You know, when you came in and you started to talk about the program, and one thing, Monica, I want to say that I thought was really neat, when you explained it to Chief Habash and I, you explained it in full and in great detail, the whole program, but you also, before ending, you expressed the idea that, you know, the parts where there are going to be people that don't like this program.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people will shy away from that, or they won't say that because they don't want the public to know that there are people out there that would disagree with, for whatever reason, I don't know, but they would disagree with the program. And you explained that all to us, because she said, I remember you saying, you're going to get calls and people are going to talk about the program and maybe even knock the program, how they could, I don't know. But I'm going to say it that way because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I don't know how anybody could disagree with doing the program. Chief Habash and I looked at each other that day and we said, why would we not do this program? And everybody was on board. The mayor of Carmel, the township trustee, Doug Callahan, he helped purchase the box to begin with. And we were just all excited about getting the box put in.
Okay, so what were your expectations? So when you when you first get the box in, and the installation of that box was a little crazy because they actually installed it too high.
Too high, yeah. So that was neat. We had set it all up for them to arrive, and I was excited about being there and everything. When the box arrived, I still have all this in a scrapbook that I made too.
Do you really?
I made a scrapbook.
You got to show me that.
Yeah, I've got all these pictures in the scrapbook. You're standing in the back room of Station 345. We have it because they dropped it off and they put it in that little storage room in the back of the
I remember
station.
that.
And we had a blue cover on it. And I couldn't wait to get it put in, but we had to wait for the construction company to come and begin on it. But you and I are standing in there. They brought it down and delivered it. And we were all excited about it. And then they started, I think, the following day to install it. And what you're talking about was, so they began the installation. I was there every day to check on them. The station captain, Tony Keaton, would keep me informed as to where they were at. So I'm at headquarters one day, and Tony calls me, the station captain. He says, "Hey, Chief, I just want to let you know, you might want to come and see this. They've got it installed. And it looks a little high on the outside." So
it was like up to the top of my head.
Yeah.
Like it's like, what in the world were they thinking?
So what I want to say is what was really important was I was very excited about being part of the program. Mm-hmm. And I realized I'd done some studies myself that I wanted to make sure the average woman is 5'4". And I wanted to make sure the height on the outside, I did not want to have to stress the mother in any way, shape, or form. Right. And so having that at that level would be perfect. So when I got down there that day, they had installed it, and they had they had it all in the blocks and everything was done. And they said, "What do you think?" And I said, "It's way too high on the outside." And the guy said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Look, we don't want the mother to have to, she's already nervous with everything going on, right? Think about it. She, what a loving thing she's doing for her child to protect it. But, and so we don't want to stress her anymore. Right. And the last thing I want to do is on her tippy toes trying to open the door and place the baby in the box." And I said, "So you're going to have to lower it." And he said to me, "What?" And I said, you're going to, now it's inside. We're standing on the outside
so you
of
got
it.
this contractor standing here going, "You are not serious."
It's all done. It really looks great. But I'm looking at it going, it's too high. I don't want her, if I have to reach up, she's going to have to reach up, right? And we don't want her doing that. You think about it. And then somebody mentioned something about stairs, putting some steps. I said, I'm not going to have the mother climbing up stairs, opening the door with the baby in her hand. We're not going to do it. And then I said, plus the stairs icy out in the wintertime, all that. No, we're not doing it. I said, just lower it down. And he said, what, was there a particular reason why you put it so high? And he told me, well, I didn't want your firefighters on the inside because of at the level I wanted it, it would put the bottom of the box about 4 inches off the floor, which I had no problem with, right?
Right. But so they have to bend over.
But he said their firefighters will have to bend over to open the box and get the baby out. And I said, I remember saying to him, I said, "Sir, with all due respect," because he's a wonderful man. The company was a wonderful company that installed it. And they did a lot of good work. But I said, if our firefighters are not able to bend over and get that baby out of the box, they don't need to be in the fire service, right? That's our job. We'll worry about that. Let's lower the box. This is about the mom and the baby. That's what we're going to do.
And they graciously did that.
And they did. They wonderfully,
did a great job.
The construction company was great. They literally pulled it back out of the wall and they lowered it down. And again, it made it 4 inches off the floor on the inside, but that was no problem. You can see that with the pictures of ours. So they got it all installed and they did a great job. I mean, they were ones that I could call. A lot of times construction companies, you call and they're, we'll meet you next 3 days. They were there right on time every day.
They are a great company.
They are.
Down in Indianapolis, and we've done many jobs with them.
Yes, they have.
And they've even donated a lot of their services to save.
Yeah, they did. They've come back, I know, and checked things for me. And it just, when you call them and they're like, "Don't worry about it, no charge, we'll take care of it."
Yeah.
And so to say, I want everybody to know who's out there listening, they did a great job.
Yeah, they did.
They really did.
And they've continued to do a great job.
They have, yeah. And you want to remember this. It's like anything. Everything's new to everybody, right? Our station's different than other stations. So
and the box was new too because you were box number 7 in the nation.
Right.
So this had only been done 7 times, and I think your box for this company was the second time the second time that they had installed one. And so they were still trying to navigate.
Right. So it's like anything you do in life. When it's new, you're looking for new and better ways to do it.
Yeah,
so
and
lessons learned.
Yeah, and so you get this box and you get it in, and we come and we do the training and we get you guys set up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now the box is ready to go. It is sitting in your firehouse, and we wait And we wait.
We wait.
And we wait some more.
Yeah. And we waited like almost 3.5 years.
1,194 days.
There you go. You got the number.
I
That
do.
was great.
So 1,194 days later, the alarm goes off.
The alarm goes off. Now, you got
Now,
to hear
this-
this.
yes,
This gets
yes.
exciting.
This
So at the time, at Station 45, you have to understand the fire station was attached to a government center,
Right.
which is the township center. That's where Doug Callahan at the time was the trustee, and that's where his office was. So he was the one that actually purchased the baby box for us and was very involved with it as well. I want to say that. And his administrative assistant, Debbie Spellbring, was very involved as well. They always took care of all the fees and making sure everything was followed up on it, and they were very helpful. So I want to say that on their behalf. But that we were right next door. So Doug had allowed us, the fire administration, to have an office with him. They had an open office at the time. We were moving, waiting for our new headquarters to be built that we're currently in now. And so during that time, we were down there tentatively for a short period of time, temporarily for a short period of time. But actually, it worked out great for me.
Yeah,
So
it sure
I'm working
did.
that day. I'm in my office. I have to tell everyone out there, I'm very passionate about this program, so I want you to know I have both my phones with me today. I have my personal phone.
So if this box goes off today while we're in this podcast,
Oh, yeah,
you're out of here.
I'm out of here.
You're
I'm
out.
gone. I'm gone. I'm telling you, I'm leaving. You know I will.
I do
we'll,
know you.
We'll run hot if I have to. But and in all seriousness, I have it. It activates on both my phones. I had
right.
the alarm company that we set up with them. They did a wonderful job too. We set it up on both my phones so it'd go off. So I'm at my desk. The phones go off. I see it's a baby box. So I want everyone in the public to understand when we first installed it, we knew people would try to look into it and accidentally set it off, do things like that. Kids are kids. We were all kids. We've all
Right,
done stuff
right.
like that. We had kids in the neighborhood that actually had activated it before. And so, and I told the firefighters, when they do that, when the kids do that, and they wouldn't. I said, go outside, bring them inside,
Right.
show them what.
Educate.
And we did that with the kids. The firefighters
Because you did
that.
get a set of kittens in your box.
We did.
That was public. We didn't try to hide it.
No, we didn't hide it. No. And we sanitized and cleaned the box. And that turned out to be a good story, too. We actually saw that all the kittens through the Humane Society were
got
all adopted. And the story made the news, and it was great. So
Yeah.
that happened before we ever had our first baby. But back to the day I'm on duty, I'm at across the parking lot at the government center working and in the administration, and both my phones go off. So I look at it and I'm thinking, okay, it could be kids again. So I
Right,
get up,
right.
I'm moving. No, I always move quickly. And I started across the parking lot. And I get about halfway, and the station captain calls me. And he says, John, we have a real baby. We've got a real baby. So needless to say, I start running. Now, remember, both hips have been replaced. So the guys are at the window. Some of them are laughing, they're, seeing me run. But I come through the door, and this is a story
I love this story. Every time you say it, I love this.
I come through the door, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. The firefighters there were 4 on the fire engine and 2 on the ambulance. And all 6 of them had a hand on the bassinet.
So the bassinet is the part that goes inside the box that
baby
holds
box,
the baby.
yeah, which is great. So everyone knows in the public, the baby's protected in a bassinet, and it's just like they'd have in a hospital.
It's
that they roll
detachable.
the babies around. Everybody's familiar with that.
Yep.
To the nursery and back. It's just like one of those. Her program has one of those built in there, and it lifts out very nicely. And then we have a changing table there where they can put it on there, open the drawer, and tend to the baby before transport. They had done all that, and they were coming out of the room. They all had their hands on it. And what really got me was to see that all 6 of them wanted to be part of it.
Right.
And nothing, and I kid you this, nothing was going to happen to that baby. I mean it. They carried it all the way out through the station and out to the Bay Area where the trucks are. And then they loaded the baby into
And
the
each of those firefighters had a hand on that
hand
box.
on that box.
So you have 6 grown men.
Grown men. And I wished I had gotten a picture. I really do. I tell everyone to this day, I wish I had gotten a picture because it looked like 6 angels carrying that baby, and they were not going to let anything happen to it. And again, it was our first. We're all
Right.
excited. So we
Right.
go to the hospital, and the way the program is set up, we have a operating manual. We have forms that need to be filled out. So I go along with them. And when we get there, we have a chain of custody form that's filled out.
Right.
And that way, everybody that's had contact with that baby, that form is completed, which is a wonderful program. And what it does is that form, then a copy goes with the baby and the baby's medical record for its life. And then Carmel Fire keeps the top copy. And then the hospital can make one as well if they choose to keep one.
Right.
So, and then we stay with the baby at the hospital in the NICU. The baby goes from the ER to the NICU, and then where it can be, all the tests can be done. And then my wife and I get to stay with the baby as well as Monica and the fire chief. So it was, when I called my wife and told my wife, we were just talking about it on the way up here in the car. She was so excited. Her and my daughter, Libby, go out immediately to Kohl's and start buying the baby clothes, which is really cool.
I love that.
And, oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. They they're just, how big is it? And I said, I don't know. I haven't got all the information yet. She's like, what's the size?
Is it a girl?
You know,
Is
a
it a
guy,
boy?
all
Tell
I
me
care
more.
is a baby healthy and alive, and that's what matters. Well, is it a girl or a boy? You know, I tell her. And then they start buying clothes right away. And I love it because they're involved with it as much as I am. All of the firefighters are. So I tell the story, though. So my wife and I stayed with the baby that evening. When I came back to the fire station that night, I wanted to go back and make sure the baby box had been reset. And of course, when I went in there, God love them, they had sanitized it. They said, Chief, it's all clean. We've taken care of it. Don't worry about it. And I said, thank you, guys. And as I walked through the kitchen, I tell Monica this all the time, I looked down in one of those big silver pans, because there's 13 firefighters that run out of the station. So they all eat dinner together. You can imagine, kind of a commercial kitchen. One of those commercial pans, big long one. It has before I had walked in there, they said, Chief, we've cleaned the baby box, and we want to tell you we made a baby a birthday cake. And this really tugged at my heart. It really, really did. I thought, oh my God, you're just kidding me. And they go, no, look. And I walked back in the kitchen, and there it was in one of those big commercial pans. It even had sprinkles on top of it, which was adorable. But half of it was gone. So I walked back in the kitchen. I'm like, where's the rest of the cake? And they go, he would want us to eat it. We know that. But, just the thought of everybody being involved like that, I could see the way the first baby had affected the firefighters and the way the whole program had. And everybody was joining into it. You could see them days later. Here's an example. Days later, I would go out to make sure everything was still okay with the box and everything, because we're all excited, waiting for the second one now. And we're getting ready for the press conference that we do afterwards at that station. But while I was out there, I had one firefighter approach me in the hallway upstairs, and because I was checking the alarm, or checking where we would put these alarms. They were asking me if we could install more of this alarms. Initially, when we had put the baby box in, we put one in the main room of the station. So we knew that's where firefighters were most of the time. And so that's where they wanted the alarm. The alarm is basically like you'd see in a school or a church. It's a thing high on the wall in the room, but we made these blue. So we know if it was a blue light going off, it's the baby box. We had one installed. That's all they wanted to begin with. After we had the first baby, they asked me if we could have one in the weight room, one in the bays where the trucks are, and one in the bedroom upstairs. So now we have, instead of one, we have 4 installed. My point behind that is it was beautiful to see how the firefighters got involved and wanted to be a part of the program. And they said, we don't want to miss it.
So do you think that the first baby brought belief? Because every department. I mean, being a firefighter for many years, there's a lot of critics on the fire department. Everybody's got a stinking opinion.
Right.
But and that there were some people probably criticizing, why do we even need this box? What's this stupid? Blah blah blah. Yeah. But do you think that there was, after that first baby came, do you think that there were people that were like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize we needed this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No question about it. I mean, I can honestly say I feel, in Carmel at least, I can speak for them. I don't think anybody was ever against it. I don't recall ever hearing anyone against it at all. I do know we went, like, as we said, 3.5 years with just the kittens being placed in there. But,
which was important. Let's just say.
Yeah. No. Because the kids in the neighborhood placed the kittens in there, and they put a note on there, please, firefighters, take care of the kittens. And so that turned out to be a good story as well. And I think, I still think, I want to say this before we go on further, if I can. We memorialized our baby box in the name of Amelia.
Yeah.
And Monica's trademark on the Safe Haven baby box, the footprint is Amelia's footprint.
The logo, yeah. The logo.
And I say all this because when Monica had told me the story about Amelia, and we just celebrated her 10th birthday there at our station, which is wonderful. About the last baby that has ever been found, I'm proud to say, because of your program, that baby was the last baby ever found deceased in Indiana.
From abandonment, yeah.
Yeah, from abandonment, yep. And so that being said, we memorialized our baby box after Amelia.
Right, we did.
And I believe to this day, and I said this the other day when we were celebrating her 10th birthday at the station, there is no doubt in my mind that that baby is in heaven. And people can believe what they want in this world. But I'm speaking from my heart, and I really mean what I'm saying. I believe Amelia's in heaven looking down on that baby box and had led those mothers to that baby box. Had even the story with the kittens. I think because so many things have happened with our baby box, that is just not that others, all the others, they all work the same. They all save the life of the babies in that. But the idea that we've had 4, the idea that we've had all 4 were during the day, a daytime. There's just so many things that I believe Amelia is overseeing that. I really do. I think it's just all of them are great. I'm not knocking any others. They're all going to serve the same purpose. But I just think I think Amelia is overseeing that.
Well, every life has purpose.
Yes.
And I think we found Amelia's.
Oh, definitely.
And how tragic it was. Mm-hmm. We have just brought so much change from it.
Oh my God.
And just brought faith. Out of her tragedy, we've taken her pain, basically.
Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, so Amelia was found in Eagle Creek Woods in December of 2014. And she was found by a hiker.
December 28th.
Yep, December 28th. She was found by a hiker, and placenta still attached. I mean, this baby was full term, and she was left where there was vehicle tire tracks. We know that a car drove there and basically dumped her, and she was wrapped in a aviation sweatshirt,
airline hoodie.
Yeah, and so it said Aviation Department, Vincennes University.
Yeah,
and so. Linda Zanacco, who runs He Knows Your Names, decided to name her Amelia. And then Linda said, Monica, why don't you name her last name? Mm-hmm. And so she also said to the coroner, who got to hold this baby, the only person that was able to hold this baby, that she could name her middle name. And so Linda named her Amelia. The coroner named her middle name Grace. And I named her last name Hope.
Hope. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that wonderful? Everybody listen. Come on now.
Yeah. And so Amelia Grace Hope is the last baby ever to be found deceased in the state of Indiana. I know. It's like, we just celebrated 10 years of, and I hate to say, of her tragedy that has brought so much awareness. And it's not just Indiana anymore. I mean, it started here because of Amelia, but now is just launched all over America.
Everywhere.
And it's because of her and her footprint that we grasp to for hope and faith. And so, okay, so the first baby comes and morale is just like, it's pumped.
We are on fire.
So then how many days later?
Oh, within a period of, I want to say 2 weeks. Well,
I think it was 9 days.
11 days.
11
days. I just figured it out. Sorry, John's a little slow in doing my math. But 11 days, we had the second baby. Now, how exciting was that?
Okay, so now.
Okay, now this is.
Because now I'm like, I'm down in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
I'm down in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I have a used boat that we went and picked up.
Oh, my God. That's a story in and of itself, too.
I know. And so I'm down there, and I am literally sitting in the truck arguing with my husband because he's taken too long to hook up this boat. And I get a phone call. And no, I didn't get a phone call. I got a text from the chief.
Yeah.
And this is the funny part because he put me, he put you, and he put the mayor on the same text. And one thing you have to know about Monica Kelsey is you do not put her on speakerphone and you do not put her in a group text because you never know what's going to come out of this mouth. And so, he says, hey, just wanted to let you know we got a second baby in our box. And my response on the text that went to the mayor was, shut the F up. And, it's like, because I was like, these guys are playing. I mean, this has been 11 days.
11 days, yeah.
11
days.
What
would be the odds of that?
What is that? And so, of course, I start calling you and you're not answering me because you're too busy. And so, okay, so let's walk through that day for just a second.
So that day, you can see it right here. I got to show it. I love it. Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin', if you want to sponsor us, Mr. Moriarty would be happy.
Dunkin', please help out Safe Haven Baby Box program. I love it. Your coffee's wonderful. I was at Dunkin' Donuts going through a drive-through with my daughter, who I want to say, Libby, my daughter Libby.
She's great.
She is an RN at IU North. And she was riding with me that day, and we're going through the drive-through. I've got an order in for the coffee, and my phone goes off. So I hand Libby the phone, and she said, "Dad, it's the baby box." And I said, "You're kidding." And I looked at it. I'm like, so I'm trying to get my order paid for so I get going.
You're like, "Here, take my money, quick.
Take the money, $10. Just keep it. Don't worry about it." And so I get the money, and I'm saying, "Libby,
Did you get your coffee?"
Yeah, I did get
Okay,
the coffee.
good.
I did. I put the coffee in the holder, but I wasn't worried about that point. So I told Libby, I start driving, and I'm heading at that point towards Station 45 because we're in Carmel, in the center of Carmel at the time.
How far away is the Dunkin' Donuts?
The Dunkin' from 345s is probably about 2.5 miles, maybe, something like that. So I start,
Again, during the day.
Oh, during the day. I start heading that way, and I told Libby, call the station and see if you can get a hold of the Captain Brandt. And so she did, and Captain Brandt said, "John, tell John, your dad, they're on their way to the hospital now with the baby." I said, "Okay, I'm just going to head that way." So we take off that way, Libby and I do.
Now, are you going hot?
No,
we're not going hot.
I'm not going hot. No, I'm not going to say that. But anyway, I'm getting on it, and she's like, "Dad," and I said, "We got to get there." So, but what was funny was when I pulled up, the ambulance had already arrived. I saw the ambulance there. The doors were open. They'd taken the baby in. But I pull up, and I just parked right in the center of the emergency bay at the hospital, and I just jump out. So my daughter's like, "Dad, that way," and I go on in. So
did you take the keys?
No, the keys are in my pocket. It's one of those push buttons.
Okay.
So I had the keys with me, but the car, I think I'd shut it off, but I just left the door open and everything. I jump out and I run in because I thought I'll come back out. Well, needless to say, I went on with the baby into the ER, started the paperwork, everything we do, went up to the NICU. Hours later, the fire chief comes in and says, "John, I just need to tell you about leaving your car." And I went, "Oh, my
No rush,
Lord.
but we got to move your car out.
We got to move your car because ambulances need to get in and out." So anyway, it just shows you things that happen. It did make me think about it in the future. So now, and it happened later with our third and fourth baby, I would end up parking my car in the parking lot where it belongs. But
it's not as like, it's like now we're focused.
Now we're focused. Yeah. We live and learn. But it was exciting because, again, as you're saying, 11 days apart. What are the odds of that?
Yeah.
And so, and that baby was fine. My wife and I stayed at the hospital with the baby then. And
okay, so wait, let's back up for just a second.
Okay.
So then you guys call me, and I'm like, where are you guys going? And you're like, we're going to this hospital, and I'm like, all right, I'm headed that way.
Yeah.
Little did you know. When
you had your boat.
I had the boat on the back of my car. And so we're pulling into the parking lot, and my husband, and God bless him, because he's like, let's just say he is the calm to my storm, okay?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, just drop me off at the door. Just drop me off the door. He's like, it's going to take 3 seconds to park this. And I'm like, no, you have a boat back there.
Yeah.
It is going to take 5 minutes, and I don't have that.
Yeah,
and so he literally pulls me up, and you guys are all standing out in the ambulance bay looking at me as I'm being dropped off by Joe's
with the
truck
boat on the
at the hospital.
I love it. That's what makes it great, though. That's what makes the story great.
Well,
It really does.
and then there's a picture that Chief Habash took of me walking up with a boat going that way. It's priceless.
I love it.
And so then I join you, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what makes it all special because, all the stories behind it have been wonderful. The whole program's wonderful. The way it works from there, my wife and I and you and Dave, we stay at the hospital with the baby, and we take turns coming in and out to be with the baby.
Well, and let me be clear, the reason why you guys are so involved there is because you understand that when you take this baby to the hospital,
it has nobody.
Exactly. There's nobody there. I mean, the nurses, they do an amazing job.
Absolutely.
But they are overworked and underpaid and understaffed. And so for you guys to be able to go in and hold these babies until their forever family gets there, which could be hours,
Well, then it was days, and
back then, it was days.
We can talk about that program, how we switched that
so
too.
You guys actually go in there and make sure that this baby does not feel abandoned again.
Absolutely. You think about that. That baby has no one there. Right. Where all the other rooms, as my wife said, we'd walk by and you'd see the mom and dad in there, or mom in there, or both, or maybe relatives or something. But when you get to our room, there'd be no one in there but the nurses and doctors. And that's why Lori and I and Monica and the chief wanted to be a part of that baby's life, and still are to this day, which is wonderful.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
We always will be. And so we wanted to make sure someone was in there with the baby, just so that baby knew there's someone with them.
Well, and I think that's just so beautiful about your heart and
goodness.
Chief
My wife-
Hotbosh's, your wife.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like you guys understand the program.
Oh,
You get it. I mean, it's like these moms are entrusting you.
Right.
They're saying, Carmel Fire, I want you to take it
care
from
of my
here.
baby,
To take
exactly.
it from here. And so for
and that's
you to,
for every fire department who's ever any
Yes.
department that gets out. It's our responsibility to take care of that baby all the way through, not just to the hospital,
Yeah.
but all the way through. And that's what I wanted to make our program, and hopefully everybody else feels the same way. To make your program that way, remember, we took on the responsibility. We're going to hang on to it forever. And as long, even when they're with their family, they can come back and visit us and know we are always there. We're going to take care of you. And what will be neat is later on in life, when you think about it, when they come back as teenagers, now, who knows? Maybe one of these children may be a Carmel firefighter.
oh,
one day.
I have no doubt in my mind that one of those four is going to end
Oh
back
my
up at your
goodness! I
station.
think it'd be so cool.
Okay, so we have first baby. 11 days later, we have a second baby.
Mm-hmm.
And how many more days until we had a third baby?
Oh, let me think. That was
30 days.
well, they were all three were within 6 weeks.
Okay, so we'll just say about 2.5 weeks later.
2.5 weeks later, comes the third one. And Lori and I were just talking about this today. The third one, I was in, I believe, the driveway at home, and it went off. My phones went
Again,
off
during the day.
During the day. And so I take off down there. I headed straight down to the hospital. Because at that point, I called from my driveway, and they had told me the same thing. They're on their way to the hospital. So my home which is nice, is very close to the hospital, believe it or not. Imagine that. But it was perfect. So I just drove straight down to the
How
hospital.
appropriate that is.
Yeah. I did park in the parking lot this time, in the
You
right
didn't
parking lot,
block the
and then
ambulance?
grab the operating manual. It's so, as Monica and I are talking, as it went along, obviously, like anything in life, the more you do something, the better we get.
Yeah.
And so I was able to park my car and relax, but I was excited at the same time. But I was able to grab the manual, go inside, and begin the paperwork. And because and even when you go in, the nurses look at you like you're here again already.
What in the world is happening at Carmel Fire?
We're beginning to connect with them. And by the way, I want to say this. This is how great things work together. That the hospital staff at a later time joined us I wanted to bring everyone together because, again, I'm very passionate about the program, but I thought, how can we make this better and better and better and better for everyone? And so at a later time, just so everybody knows, we brought the hospital staff, the DCS, the Department of Health. We brought all the fire department personnel, the police department personnel, everybody that would be involved, that we begin to learn this is the way it's going to go. We wanted everybody's input and feedback, the ways we could make it better for the hospital, the way the hospital could make it better for us, the way we could make it better for DCS, and every which way. And so we had a great meeting at our training room where our baby box is. Again, I say this. We have it there because that's where Amelia is. Right. And I know she's overlooking everything to bring us all together. It was a wonderful meeting. It worked out great, and we made more of our operating guidelines from that meeting.
So, and that's how vested Carmel Fire is in this program. Well, one, you've seen the success of it.
Yeah.
Two, you're seeing the lives that have been saved.
Oh, absolutely.
But three, the impact too by baby Amelia. If there isn't resources available, if these mothers want an anonymous option.
Absolutely.
And so second baby done. 3.5 weeks later,
we have the third.
We have the third. You're in your driveway. You park in the parking lot when you get to the hospital.
Yeah, I get to the hospital. I go inside, and the nurses are like, "Here you are again." Again, they like that, and I say, "Yep." So we go the same routine. We go through the ER. It's kind of a system now, and then we go up to the NICU. Now this one was a little bit different because there were some different circumstances with this baby.
Right.
And so at that time, I think Lori and I were talking about today, we were with the baby. We were able to stay with the baby that day, I think for the next day or two. And then some things began to change. It was a different situation. It was good. The baby was fine. Baby was healthy. It was just different circumstances with DCS from one location to another and that kind of stuff.
Well, and let's okay, so for those that don't know, these parents have 30 days to change their mind. So when they place their baby in Carmel Fire Department's baby box, for 30 days thereafter, if they feel that they've made the wrong choice.
That's Indiana law.
Correct.
Indiana law.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, no, you're fine. No,
So that is, 30 days to change their mind if they want reunification.
Right.
And this baby is one of those babies. This baby is actually the only baby that we've had placed in our box that was reunified with
this mother. So I tell everyone that, and I was just telling we have 10 new recruits we brought on Carmel Fire yesterday. And so I speak to them about the baby box program because they're going to be working at Station 345. Right. And I want them to be aware of it and the whole program. And I tell them how important it is how wonderful the program is because, as you're saying, with our first and second baby, it went through the process like it does, the way it's set up at that time through DCS and everything, and the babies were adopted. Both of them were adopted. I know for a fact because we've connected with all the families. Right. The third one, we know went back to its mother. And we know that because I can tell you that she reached directly out to me. Well,
okay, so that is something, and I don't want to talk specifics, but I want to know her heart. I want to know what, in your words, not hers, but no, in her words, not yours.
I got you.
What she called you for? Why did she call you? What was the reasoning for her to?
She called me because she wanted to thank me and thank you and the Carmel Fire Department for everything we did for her son. And she clearly stated that it was the press conference that she had saw from our second baby. And I'll leave it at that.
So that's why she chose Carmel Fire. And that's another thing that I want people to understand is the reason why we do these press conferences afterwards, there's 3 reasons. One is to talk directly to these parents.
Absolutely.
And that's probably the most important part of it.
Absolutely.
But then it's also to explain the process and show that it worked. And it worked exactly as it was designed to.
Yeah.
And that the fire department did their job and did it well.
Right.
And then the third reason is education. We can't continue to put boxes out and not tell anyone.
Absolutely.
Because if we do that, no one's going to use them because no one knows they're there.
They don't even know they're there.
Yeah, and so doing that at Carmel Fire, we're saying by this mom's own words, the reason why she chose to keep her child safe and to trust Carmel Fire is because of what we did 3 weeks before.
Yep, absolutely.
Doesn't that just
tugs at my heart? And but to listen to her talk on the phone and her message to me, I was crying. She was crying on the phone, and just to know, to show you that it works full circle. Monica's program, and I'm saying this in front of her on this
podcast.
Thank you. I'm sorry, old school podcast. This is wonderful, by the way. Thank you. It shows you that your system works all the way around, both ways, because she had said she got her baby back from the court. She went to a hearing, got him back. Got back on her feet, got things together, and sounded just a wonderful human being herself. And it just made me so happy to know mom, because again, for all of us, mom and baby are what's important.
Well, and in that case too, so a lot of people think that Safe Haven Baby Boxes is just pushing women to boxes. No, that we can. That. No, and it's always we're pushing these moms to make a good choice. Whatever choice they choose. And this mother chose the baby box first, but then she felt that her best option was for her and her baby was to reunify.
Right.
And so we support that.
We support it.
We support this.
We state that. We always say, you've always said it from the podium. I have, Chief Albus has in the past. We have said from the podium that mom, number one, your baby's okay. Everything's fine. We're taking care of it. Number 2, we want to make sure you're okay. Here's numbers you can call to make sure you're taken care of, mom, and make sure everything's okay. Number 3, you can, with the baby and yourself, you'll be able to reconnect with them after 30 to 45. I think it's 30 to 45 days, within 30, Indiana law, you can reconnect with your baby.
Right.
And we state that. We make that very clear. And so it just shows you that it did work for her. She reconnected with her baby, and man, to hear her talk, oh my goodness, that was wonderful.
But it brings out the realness, the faith that we have in these moms to keep their babies safe. That's exactly what she did. And then she regretted her decision.
Yeah.
And then we supported her to turn around
and explain to her. And we do that as a press conference. And I know all of your literature that's handed out as well states that how to go back about getting your baby back.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. The whole idea, and you've stated that from day one. You said, I'm not telling the parents to go to our baby box. I'm not ordering you to do that. I'm not telling you even if you have to go in the fire station. Just keep make a good decision to take care of your baby. Right. And I want to say to all the mothers that is one of the greatest acts of love that anyone could do. And I really mean that. You think about that decision to do that and to think of her child, to take care of the child that way. That is truly, truly, truly being a great mother, for sure.
Amen.
By all means.
So, okay, so third baby comes. Okay. And how long before the fourth baby came?
Okay, so the three babies came between, let's just say April and May of 2022.
Right.
The fourth baby came in around
August.
the end of the summer, we'll say.
It was August.
August,
Yeah.
August of 23.
Yep. Yep. So within 18 months, we had four babies.
Had the four babies. Now, what I want to say about between the third and the fourth one, a lot had changed. And what that was we noticed, when I say we, myself, Monica, Chief Hobbush at the time, the fire chief, and then I do want to say right now, our Chief Hobbush is retired. And he is our quartermaster for the fire department, doing a wonderful job. Our new fire chief is very much on board with it. His name is Joel Thacker. He went through they all long interview process in that. And then he was chosen from Mayor Finkham, our current mayor of Carmel. She had chosen him to be the fire chief.
You got a woman mayor?
I'm sorry?
You got a woman mayor?
Yeah, Mayor Sue
That's
Finkham.
awesome.
Yeah, she does a wonderful job.
Well, we need more women in those positions.
She's doing a wonderful job. She is doing a very wonderful job.
Awesome.
She's very boots on the ground about getting things done.
That's how
and
it
I
gets
know
done.
She supports this program 100%, and so does the new fire chief, Chief Thacker. But what I want to say was, after we had our fourth baby, we realized, you and I remember talking about this, or after we had our third baby, that we realized there was here in Indiana, the way the process worked, with Lori and I being at the hospital, say, and yourself and the chief coming visiting for that week. And again, Department of Child Services does a great job. They joined us in all this. They were with us through all the babies. They do a wonderful job. The hospital staff did a wonderful job. But we realized that there was, I don't want to say disconnect, but a long time. So the baby's in the hospital for a week with the first three. They're in the hospital, we'll say the first two. They're in the hospital for a week, and then the Department of Child Services would find a foster family for them to be with. They would be with that foster family, say, anywhere from 30 to 45 days. That's giving the blood mother and father time to, if there's a hearing, to come back and get the baby. And then they would, at the end of the 30, 45 days, they would find the adoptive family. DCS would do that. And that's kind of the way the first two went. And then, again, the third one was a different story, but we know that young boy went back to his mother and son doing well. So that's all good. But we wanted to make a change of some kind. What we wanted to do was as Monica would know being a mother, my wife would know being a mother, that a baby, the bonding that a mother and baby share is second to none. There is no greater love than a mother and a child, as far as I'm concerned. And I say that I love my wife dearly in a marriage and everything. There's great love, but there's no greater love other than for the Lord. I want to say that, but is between a mother and a child. No greater love at all. And so we realized that we needed to get the mother, the forever mom, and the baby together as soon as possible.
Yes.
So we did go down to the state legislature in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Capitol building. And I spoke, Monica spoke. I know Chief Hobbush spoke at one time or another as well. And there were some other folks that spoke on behalf of Safe Haven. And we did get the law changed. And I want to tell everybody this while I'm doing this podcast. See, I'm old school. I can't remember, but thank you, Monica. So while I was down there, it was really neat. I went to the podium to begin to speak about the baby box program and kind of asking them what we wanted to get passed in this bill. And I looked down, the first thing I saw, and the bill number that they had given, they being the legislature, had given the bill was Bill 345. And I thought, it just made me smile real big. And one of the senators asked me, what's, I see you smiling, and I said, raised it up, and I said, well, I'm so happy that you gave this bill number 345, because that's the very station number where we've had our three babies. And they all smiled too. So I thought that was really
Another
cool.
Amelia moment.
Another Amelia moment. Yes, that's great. That's a great way to put it. Another Amelia moment. And so with that being said, the bill did pass. And so now the way it worked, that the bill passed on July 1 of 2023.
Right.
And I'm saying that date for this particular reason. When you think about it, we had our fourth baby in August of 2023. our fourth baby was the first baby to go through the process and through Safe Haven and the state and this new
Well,
Bill 345, she was the first baby to do that. And the way it works now is same procedure. The alarm went off. I get to the hospital. Firefighters take the baby in. The baby's in the ER. The baby goes to the NICU. But at the way the new bill is, the fire chief of that jurisdiction where the baby box is gets to makes the decision and picks the adoption agency who will choose the mother and father from a vetted list from the state of Indiana.
which they have to be an LCPA, which is a licensed child placing agency in the state of Indiana. But you also still have the option of going through DCS. So you can do DCS or you can use an adoption agency.
Right.
It's basically up to the department now to make that choice so that you guys feel like you guys have a little bit of say in this. And then you guys can kind of follow along in the process.
But DCS was I want to mention Indiana DCS was very good to work with us all through all the babies. I want to say this too. No matter what, if a baby has been abused in any way, DCS is going to step in, which is
100%.
great. And there's no question.
We're not in the business of supporting parents to abuse
No,
their
absolutely
kids.
not. Absolutely not. Fire nor Safe Haven, no one. If we recognize that any fire services recognize that a baby's been abused in any way, we're going to report it to DCS immediately. We're going to report to DCS no matter what, that we've had a baby in the baby box. And so they're aware of it. But if there's abuse, we're going to let them know, and they take it over. I want everyone to know there that if a baby's been abused in any way, DCS is going to take over from that point forward. That's the way it's been explained to us, which is fine. That's the way it should be. We want to make sure it's all taken care of. But with the fourth baby, we still contacted DCS to let them know. But with the new system, the way that with the new bill 345, we had our baby, our fourth baby, with its forever mother within 16 hours.
I know, that's amazing.
That day. So that was wonderful. It couldn't have worked better. Within 16 hours, that baby was with its its forever mother, adoptive mother. And so something I want to say about that too. Monica, the training video that you've given me to use, I use it at the Carmel High School here in Carmel, the city of Carmel. I do trainings with their family, consumer, science, childhood development class. And a wonderful teacher there I work with there. And as she told me last year, she said you taught over 300 students about the Safe Haven Baby Box program. And so every year I go back and teach with it. And now we're setting up a system where we have an older baby box that we're putting on a
the older baby box, which happens to be the box that housed the first three babies.
The first three babies, right? Because we had updated it.
We updated
and so
the
we
box.
kept the old one. We're not gonna put names, but we're gonna honor the dates that they were put in there with the plaque. And then this the older box would be used as a training unit, a mobile training unit that we can move at our headquarters throughout the building and different areas of the building to teach about the Safe Haven Baby Box program.
Always being proactive.
Oh,
I love that about Carmel Fire.
Any way we can promote the program, we're going to do so. And as I said, I do at the high school. I think I do with the new recruits. I just had 10 new recruits yesterday, and I do an orientation. I go over history of the department, but then I go over the Safe Haven Baby Box program because I want them to be familiar with it. And when I was talking to them yesterday, something that always I think about, I was using your training video, the same one I use for the high school classes. And it starts with a warning, because it talks about the baby that was found along the highway, that was placed out on a highway, a little baby girl, in a plastic bag along the highway. And it shows the whole recording of the policeman's camera on body camera, filming when he was called to the scene and opening up the bag to find a baby girl, alive and well, I might say, which is great. But when you think about that, every time, and I've been, we've been at our baby box since 2018, but I want the public to know, every time that I watch that video and I see that police officer open that bag, I just think about, oh my God, this baby was left along the highway in a plastic bag. And if the children whose home backed up to that did not hear the noise and go and get their dad and tell them about it, we don't know what, I don't even want to think about what would have happened. But again, this is Amelia, I think, looking out over everything. I really believe that.
You know, I
100%.
actually spoke with the girl who found that baby.
Oh my goodness.
One of the two girls. They actually had just got home from vacation,
Oh my God.
and they went out to walk their dog.
And they heard that.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have came, and this was at night.
Oh my God.
They had just got home. They went out, and it's
Can
like,
you imagine that? Oh my God. And every time I watch that video, it's a wonderful training video because it's really, it's graphic, but it's good. It's reality, folks. Just like
reality.
this podcast. It's reality. Let's be real about stuff. There's nothing more important than human life. And when you think about, there's two, Chief Hallbush has mentioned this before when he spoke. There are two groups of people who can't speak
for themselves.
very vulnerable, and that is the seniors and then the babies. At least the seniors can talk, and they can point, and they can somewhat defend themselves. When you think about a baby can do nothing but cry when they're hungry and they've dirtied or something like that. But other than that, they can't defend themselves.
Right.
And so, and again, we're talking about human life. So there's nothing more important than that. And that's what, I mean, I just want to get that point across. Every time I show that video, every time it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up because I think, oh my God, if those children hadn't heard that. And
Well,
so,
so that was a baby that was found. How many babies do you think are not?
are not, yeah.
It's like, 'cause that baby was never
The
meant to be
stories,
found.
I read one we found where out east somewhere where a baby was, after 30 some years in a gravel pit, the remains of a baby were found. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if just, but we have baby boxes in place. This can help. People can walk into any fire station,
Yes.
police station, hospital, and hand the baby over. They can call. There's numbers to call. Today, there's cell phones everywhere. There's ways of reaching out, and people can make ways to connect with your program and be able to take care of everything. But I just say, I hope one day, and I say this all the time, I pray to the Lord that one day there'll be a baby box in every state, city, and town. That way there would be one close to any mother that would need it.
Well, and so that kind of brings us to the end of the podcast, but what was your biggest expectation? I mean, as kind of final thoughts, like when we first opened the box, has this program met the expectations that you thought back
and
then?
then some, by far. It's reached out to so many people. After we began to have as many as we did, the chief and I were contacted by the New York Times. We were contacted by a news representative in London, England. And I'm not exaggerating, where we got on not a podcast, but on a Zoom call, and we spoke with them explaining the program, and we're glad to do that. By the way, anybody can reach out to me at any time at Carmel Fire, and I will give you the whole explanation of the whole program. We'll share our operating manual with any fire department across the nation that wants that. You can take Carmel off of it and put your name on it because we want to make it easy for everyone. And we're continuing to update that as well with new and better ways of doing it because we'll always take feedback. But please know that this program works. It saves human life. And to me, there's nothing, someone asked me the other day, they said, they were talking about, money and life like that. And I said, you know what? Money can't buy happiness by any means. I'm blessed with what I have in my life. But I'll tell you this, if someone offered me $1 million or they offered me the idea that the baby box would work for one baby and save its life, I'll take the baby box for saving someone's life. Because here's the thing, money it's nothing. We have to have it to live. But if we take care of each other, there's nothing better than that. We need to learn to help each other. And this is one way we can protect all the babies in the world. It's another way, an outlet for them.
So if you could talk to, you had 4 moms that trusted you.
Oh my Lord.
If you could say,
I give them all a hug first and tell them thank you for
If they were listening, what would you say to them?
I would say thank you to all 4 of you. God love you. What a great act, a wonderful act of love. You took care of your baby big time, and just you are one of God's angels for sure, just like this lady here. And I mean that sincerely.
Well, Chief Moriarty, I am so glad to know you.
Always.
I
Thank
am
you.
so
It's
glad
my
to know
honor
you.
to know you. I tell people, and I mean it, I'm going to say it because she is sitting here. There are people in my life that I've met that I truly believe are angels, and this is one of them. God has put her on this earth to take care of these babies, and she's doing an outstanding job. And her company is just crushing it with taking care of these babies and making sure they get a safe home. I do want to say our firefighters above our baby box, every one of our fire stations, when the fire truck goes out the door, it says every firefighter, they see the door going up, it says on the door, every firefighter is going to come home. You're going to come home. Well, our firefighters, after we had the first baby, wanted above the baby box, every baby gets a home. And it's there now. You can see it on our website and see pictures of the baby box. Where it says every baby gets a home. And we're going to make sure that happens in Carmel and all over the United States and hopefully all over the world if everybody will jump on board and with Safe Haven, and we'll get these babies in London and Ireland and everywhere they need them.
I'm going to have to hire more staff.
But no, it's all about saving lives.
Amen.
Thank you for the honor and privilege of coming up here and speaking on her behalf. I really mean this. It's truly an honor to me, and anybody I can help, please reach out to me at Carmel Fire in Indianapolis or through Monica as well. That's fine.
Well, it is good to know you, Chief Moriarty. Thank you for coming up, and thank you for partnering with us many years ago to save these lives, and I can't wait to see what Christ brings.
That's what we're going to do.
And when you do retire, you have a job to save Haven baby boxes.
Well,
you can join our team.
No matter what I do, I can guarantee you I will always be helping Safe Haven Baby Box Program. No matter what I do, I will be here to my grave, because we're going to make sure these babies are taken care of. And I hope others join in and help carry this program on forever. Thank you.
Well, it is the end of the podcast with America's favorite fire chief here, Chief Moriarty from Carmel Fire Department. And I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm so proud to know you and your department, because you guys have just been amazing to work with.
Thank you very much.
God bless you guys. And this is it. We'll see you guys next time on Beyond the Box with Monica Kelsey.